doing a whole set of videos and forgetting to turn on the transmitter. It's fantastic. Welcome to PK Woodworking, and as you might be able to see in the background, there are some missing machines now. So the last couple of weeks that I haven't been on is because I was able to rent a 26-foot box truck with a lift gate to take as much of the stuff as I could, boxes and outdoor furniture and all the other kind of stuff, and some stuff from the inside the shop. So some of the machines, I think I ended up taking a total of 6 machines with me, and my main table that I use up here all the time in the front of the shop with us, including the Kundig, which was definitely the heaviest machine we took. And it's all up there in storage, ready to go for when we move. And so that's kind of why it took some time. It took 4 days, 2 trips, and it was a lot of work and exhausting. Thanks for bearing with me and hanging in there even though I haven't had any content in a bit. What I do want to talk about is some of the things that have happened around since then and give you guys kind of an idea of that. So I had to take all of the wood out of the shed outside and stage that inside the garage because I needed to get those sheds cleaned out so I know what to sell, what to take, what to throw away, whatever out of those 2 sheds. And I've got that all accomplished. You'll see some probably pictures or some video that I'm gonna secondarily put up here because I may or may not have not turned on my mic for that. And then moved it into the garage, and I'll show you some of that in a second. But we're staged and ready to go there. And again, it's another one of those things where I just need to get the right vehicle to be able to take it up. And I think the next time that I rent that vehicle to go back up and drop some more off, I'll be taking the wood, and I'll be taking a new acquisition that I'll show you here in a second, hopefully, up into storage and even clear out more of the garages. But the garages, as I'll show you here in a second, are pretty much stripped out. Hold on. I get that it's hard to see back there, but maybe if you've seen it a few times in some of the videos, took the rack out of there and 85–90% of the wood and moved it into the garage so that we can get it on a truck and move it into storage where we're moving to. Everything that was going to the new storage facility where the new house is was basically staged in the 2-car garage and the 1-car garage for like a week or so as I was getting everything in here and ready to go before that box truck was available to me to rent to go up. So this was completely full, and now it is completely empty. All of the upper cabinets that are in front of me and behind me, they're all empty. There's nothing in them anymore, and all boxed up and moved out. Everything that was mounted to the wall is pretty much off too, so I don't have any air in the regular garage anymore. It's all taken off. But what we did do is we moved all of that wood that was on that huge rack that was inside of my shed. So the rack is dismantled. It's at the new facility waiting for me to set it back up in the new shop. And then I stickered all of that wood ready to go. And it's still a ton of wood, and I can't wait to make a lot of stuff out of it, but we'll get there. But what happened in the meantime is I was able to get some plywood through an auction, and it's really cool stuff. It's like, I think it's quarter sawn veneer eucalyptus. And I took a little video. You should be able to see what it looks like, but it's really pretty stuff. And that's enough to go all the way around my entire shop, 8 feet high, as like the walls of the shop. It's not as optimum maybe as it was the last time because this is actually MDF core, so not as amazing to screw things into, to hold into, but a 3/4 inch MDF piece of plywood with a screw in it should hold up almost everything I'd want to do. And then some of them on the bottom, as you can see, are 4x10 sheets. And those 4x10 sheets are going to come into play because I want to use this same stuff, although I think probably tinted with a clear coat, to do in our main room of our home that we're building up there to house it'll be a bump out that will house the TV, the in-wall speakers, and then we'll have a cabinet low below it that I'll build out of probably white oak that will go below that will go the whole width of the room. So that width of what these are going to cover is about 150 inches wide, and then the cabinet will go a full, I want to say it's like 20 feet from end to end. that will be for all the components and things that we have inside of the new home. So all that's ready to go whenever I get the truck back up here again. Let me show you the other part of the garage is now empty too. This single garage used to be full. I had the radial arm saw in here, and I had a couple of other things in here, and lots of boxes for my son who was waiting to go back to school again. So all that's gone. All these cabinets have been taken off the wall that are coming with me and emptied out and stored. And then all the other cabinets, everything that's in them is out of them. We have that racking that everybody has in their garages up above, and that's all empty now too. One thing that I wasn't able to take with me was this, which is something that I think I never showed anyone, but this is called the Microsoft Surface Hub. It's a version 1, 84-inch. This is the back side of it. You can't see the front side of it, but it's made as a touchscreen interactive kind of device. So you can put a picture on it. You can draw on the picture. I'll give you all the details once we get it up and running at the new shop, but it's really, really cool. It's made by Microsoft. They started making these, I want to say in like 2018, 2017, something like this. It came on that pallet from Microsoft. I got this brand new in the box, never used, never touched. I started to take it apart because I thought I was going to put it in the original shop outside, but then life happened, and we got some lemons we need to turn into lemonade. So I had taken it apart, getting ready to put it up, and then I kind of had to stop what I was doing to change directions. It's all built on that pallet, and those arms that come up support the whole thing, and it really makes it easy to mount the TV when we get to mounting the TV. But the challenge is that pallet is like 9 feet long, give or take, I think somewhere around there, and it won't fit on the lift gate to lift it up into a truck. So you need to do it via a ramp. And that's how I got it home from where I bought it from. We put it, the gentleman had told me, hey, the way to do this is to get a U-Haul with a ramp. So that's what we did. I'm excited to get it set up and to get it like going for you, but gonna have to wait till I get a different vehicle. This time I'm gonna try to rent I think the 24-foot box truck comes with a lift gate and a ramp. And that's what I'm gonna be reserving and getting for the next time we go up to drop stuff off. And then I'll be able to take this with me with some of the other things I need to take as well. This is all pretty much cleaned out. Okay, so some more insights to the, I guess, move or what have you. I think based on feedback from a lot of different people and conversations, and the fact that I know that I can get access to a 24-foot stake bed truck that can do 10,000 pounds in the bed, that the best way for me to go probably is to palletize these bigger machines myself with some significant pallets, and then rent forklifts at either end. So I'll have a forklift delivered here, and then I'll take the machines out to that stake bed truck, get them on the stake bed truck from the side, and then strap them all down appropriately. And then when I get to where our house is at, I'll go to the storage area, and then I'll have a forklift delivered there, and then take them off of the stake bed truck and put into storage. And I know it's moving it another time, but the difference is that I thought long and hard, do I just bring it directly to the shop, or do I do it intermediate? And I think the reality is that since after I get it off the stake bed truck after the long 300+ mile drive, then I've got about maybe a half-mile max to go from where the storage facility is to the house. And I can do a tilt deck trailer with some pallet jacks to get the saw on, which would be my biggest pallet. And for the rest of the pallets, it would just be one pallet jack to get it onto that tilt deck trailer and then moved. And I think that's gonna be the easiest and safest way to get it done without damaging anything. And so that is the plan there. I also wanted to say thanks to a lot of the people that are on my channel that have been listening and giving feedback, that I decided for the flooring of the shop to use a wood kind of a system for the floor. So I'm gonna put in, like, you could call them floor joists if you wanted to, but they're gonna be all at different heights on 16 centers and flat 2x4 kind of plan. It's a lot of engineering that we got going on here to make this work the way we want to, but we will have it set up so that we will be able to, I think, handle all of what the sound that thing is making right now. All of the weight we'd ever need to support, so no problem there. We're also gonna do the mezzanine. So we're gonna do the mezzanine with actual metal floor joists, and that is gonna come out to, we believe, 17 wide. Well, we know it's gonna be 17 wide, but 25 feet deep. And that'll actually end up over the top of what our new little small bathroom and slop sink will be, kind of against that same wall, and they'll kind of like dead end into that area right there. So we think we have like this understood and figured out. They're moving forward with the building of the house. We should be framing the next week and ready to go. The concrete's poured and all that's done. One setback is that the 400 amps that we had got set up for the shop, unfortunately, was kind of revoked at the last minute. The builder, that I'm not going to throw under the bus, I guess they hadn't technically approved it, even though the electrician and the other people had approved it, and it would require different framing and then permits to get pulled and more structural analysis, etc., to get done, which whatever. The electrician's going to be as cool as possible and set me up for swapping it pretty quickly after we close and putting in a sub panel that'll be right next to the main panel. That's a 200 amp panel already. So all I'll need to do is replace that outdoor 200 amp, 225 amp panel with a ball and some kind of a box to do a separate disconnect for both interior sub panels. And that's kind of how we'll end up wiring the whole house. Shouldn't be too much drama, but it still is a bummer. The one cool thing about it, with how much money I'm getting back from not having that into the option pool, should pretty much pay for what I need to do after the fact. So, you know, it's not a tragedy, but it is a small setback. I just want to say thanks for watching. And I know this is like a shorter video, and we're probably looking for more content, which is coming. So I don't know if it'll be next week, but maybe possibly the week after. We're gonna start working on doing the face frames that we talked about before for these two cabinets on the wall and then my slop sink. And we're gonna do that with this face frame table and show you kind of the process of how I do face frames and what it looks like for me. And then attach them to the actual cabinet so that when I move, it's already done. All I gotta do is build some doors when I get to the new shop. Again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And we'll see you on the next one.